So in just a moment, we're going to get started. All right, we've had some requests to do some balancing work, and so we'll probably spend a little more time on our feet tonight. And actually, had intended to start standing with a couple of standing practices and then an honoring of the 4 directions. And we'll do that tonight, some sun breathing. And we'll just see what else we can fit into this beautiful hour together. So I'm going to actually open with a reading. But before I share the reading, I'm going to encourage you to just take a moment to ground yourself in this present moment. If you came with a specific intention, or in Sanskrit and yoga, what we call your sankalpa, use this opportunity to set that intention. There are all kinds of little adages and sayings. Where the mind goes, the chi flows. Basically, what that means is that energy follows intention. So right now, we have this universal intention to be present, to be receptive, to refresh and realign our energies. Tonight's reading comes out of chapter 4 of the Bhagavad Gita, the wisdom yoga of action and renunciation, verse 34. If you seek enlightenment from those who have realized the truth, prostrate before them, question them, and serve them. Only then are you open to receive their teachings of sacred knowledge. And verse 35. Once you realize this truth, Arjuna, you will never be confused again, and you will clearly see that all things in creation are part of you and part of me. Even if you'd been the worst sinner on the raft of this realization, you will certainly pass over the ocean of sin and evil. Verse 37, just like a roaring fire reduces its fuels to ashes, the fire of your realization of the truth reduces all of your karma to ashes. Undoubtedly, there is nothing in the world that so purifies you as the awakening of true knowing. Whoever rises up through yoga and time realizes this truth in his or her own heart. That's where I'll stop for tonight. A beautiful passage from the Living Gita, commentary and translation by Swami Satchidananda. And so we begin to realize, even from this short reading, that it begins with this attitude of prostration and humility. That it's okay not to know everything. That's okay to be vulnerable. And that to really continue on this path to enlightenment, we need to keep searching and keep serving. And at least for me, what that means is taking the opportunity to recognize the wisdom in those who are older than us, or those who have been there before us, and serve them and see them. And that can be as simple as just spending a little of your time to maybe say hello to that grouchy old man down the street, Just send him a little love too. We are not separate, but we are one. When you're ready, go ahead and bring the hands to rest in front of the chest, and just pause a moment as you digest the reading for tonight. If it's comfortable, close your eyes, observing your breath. Just notice the qualities of the in-breath and out-breath. Feel a warmth and a radiance emanating from within. And as you breathe in, smile at the in-breath. And as you exhale, let go and shed your old self, the old stories, the things you no longer need. Again, inhale, smile. Exhale, releasing any dead weight, any unnecessary attachments or bad habits. Just bring a little bit of awareness into those spaces, into that dense vibration. And then just become aware in your own body. This feeling of lightness, softening any sharp edges or tightness. And without having to do anything at all, just allow this presence to move through you. Feel a sense of ease and peace right here now. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. The sound Om is the primordial sound, the universal truth. Namo means I prostrate before that universal truth. I bow to that universal truth. Guru represents the teacher. Quite literally, the translation is the remover of darkness. Dev means divine or heavenly. And again, Namo means I bow to that teacher within me. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. So we're going to stand for our standing series and our 4-direction honoring. So before we move into that, I want you to, with this presence and awareness, just become aware of the directions around you. And if you don't know the directions, take a moment to identify where the sun is starting to set in the sky now. And that's the western direction. And then behind you, or wherever that is for you, will be the eastern direction. So right now I'm sitting facing west. The sun is setting out in front of me here. To my left is the south. To my right is the north. So just take a moment in your own space, in your home, within yourself, take a moment to recognize those directions. And we're going to start facing east. Okay, so I'm actually going to start facing away from you guys. All right, I'll show you the practice. It's a very simple practice. During this 4-direction honoring practice, all we're going to be doing is just like we have here at the beginning of class. We're going to create an intention to honor and recognize those 4 sacred directions. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stand and we'll get started. going to stand facing east first, the direction where the sun rises, a direction that is symbolic of this fresh energy of a new day. And we're just going to stand with our hands up right in front of our heads. We're going to bow to that eastern direction. We're going to do this 3 times. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Now facing east, we're going to turn to the right, and we're going to face the southern direction. And the direction is represented, or it's an emanation of the power of letting go. Just like a snake sheds its skin, we release and shed anything that is no longer necessary. Any old fears or anxieties, anything that's keeping us from realizing those universal truths, anything that's keeping us bogged down, anything we just simply don't need. We're simply going to offer up and overhead and surrender that down. Turn back to face the western direction. Recognize the power of the setting sun in the west. West is symbolic of the unseen. Spaces in between waking and sleeping, life and death. Again, offer up energy to the west. Connect back to the earth. Leading our 4-direction honoring practice, we're going to turn again to our right to face the north, the completion of the cycle from the north where the realized ones dwell, from the north where our ancestors have come from the beginning of time to us here now. Offer up this humility and grace and gratitude, honoring our ancestors in the northern direction. You're ready, go ahead and find your way back onto your mat. Stand with the feet just outside of your hips. Allow the shoulders to relax back and down. remember from last week, we worked a lot on unrounding the shoulders, stretching of the neck and shoulders. And so just stand with your palms turned forward or your thumbs facing forward. Go ahead and bring the hands back out right in front of the torso. We're just going to take 3 twists to each side. I'm going to inhale here in center. I'm going to exhale and twist to my right side. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the left side. Starting to work on a little torso mobility, reaching side to side. Traveling, tension or knots in the torso or side bodies. One more time each side. Exhaling to the right. Inhaling center. Exhaling to the left. Inhaling. All right. Inhale, bring the hands up and overhead. And then exhale, circle the hands back down towards the floor. Hands up and overhead. Exhale, palms press away. Heart lifting and opening as you continue to circle the arms back and down. 5 more. Go ahead and just step your feet a little bit wider. All right, and go ahead and bring your palms to your lower back here, just like this. Okay. And we're going to inhale, press the hips forward, really drive the hips forward, roll the shoulders back and down, and just lean back to your greatest degree. Bend at the knees, hinge forward, and feel that stretch in the hamstrings. Really drive the heels down. You can keep the hands on the lower back here. Crown of the head reaching forward. And inhale, hips press forward. Front of the body stretching long. Chin lifted, heart open. You can use the hands to support the lower back here. And again, exhale, hinge forward. Just till the spine is parallel with the earth. You keep a slight bend in the knees if you wish. Go. Exhale, press the hips forward, open up the heart. And back into that nice hamstring stretch. Heels drive down. Chest lifts. Inhale, back to standing. Exhale, press the hips forward, open up the heart. Ready, complete the movement. Back to that hamstring stretch, that bow forward. Good, all right. Come on back up to your mat, shake it out. We're gonna practice a lung cleansing Kriya. Kriya is a cleansing practice. All right, so we're gonna keep our feet right at that shoulder distance width. Okay, we've got a nice bend in the knees. Core is strong and engaged. I'm not slouching. I'm lengthening up out of the waistline. Bring my hands up to the tops of the shoulders. Now you can do this with or without Kapalabhati breathing. If you're not familiar with Kapalabhati breathing, it's just a really strong emphasis on the out breath, and with the out breath, a drawing up and in of the belly. There's some other more subtle and maybe even considered advanced aspects of that, but we'll just focus on either a just a relaxed breath in and out. Or if you're familiar with that Kapalabhati breathing, then feel free to incorporate that in as well. So all I'm going to do, you can do this really slow. Let's do it slow at first. I'm going to inhale and twist to the left. Now notice that my hips stayed facing forward. That little bend in the knees allows me to really just lock the lower body in place. I'm just twisting from the navel up, keeping my fingers on the front of the shoulders here. So it's an inhale left, and then an exhale right. Inhale left, we're just starting slow, and exhale right. Feel free to even kind of just draw the shoulders back and down as you move. And if you listen carefully, you can start to hear the lungs being kind of compressed and opened with this twisting movement. If you want to pick up the pace, you can. Just keep the spine long, reaching the crown of the head up. We're going to do this for about 30 more seconds or so. This movement is very tonifying, clearing for the lungs, deeply cleansing the lungs, also working back into that, or in the muscular and skeletal system, torso and spine. Last 3, 2, and 1. Release the arms, gentle spinal twist. Open up the breath. See if you can breathe in for a count of 4 or more. Let your exhalation be greater than or equal to your in-breath. All right, let those arms slowly come back to center. Give the hands a really good shake. And just shake the hands, the wrists, the forearms. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Offer the hands up. Observe how you feel now. Hands back to hips. Go ahead and just step your left foot out a little further still. In your widest comfortable stance, we're going to make 5 big hip circles in each direction. 4, 3, 2, 1. When you're ready, pause and reverse the direction of those hip circles. When you're ready, slowly bring the hips back to center. All right. So we're going to do one somewhat invigorating practice. These are called frog squats, or you could do a variation called crow squats. And this is just to really kind of help break up any stagnant energy, especially for those of us that have to sit at a desk for a long time. We can start to accumulate this stagnant energy over time. So these are really good. Just listen to your body. And of course, if you need to take a break, always take a break as needed. So I'm actually going to show you with the chair as a support for these squats, and then I'll show you another variation as well. Okay, I'm going to come up to this chair here, and if you want to, for your modified crow squats, you can simply, I guess I'll flip the chair around. Keep your hands up on the back of that chair, right? I want you just to come down mindfully as slowly as you can, all the way down, and then just slowly back up, okay? And again, you can follow along just like this. Try and keep your knees behind your toes here as you sit back down, and then just stand back up, all right? So if you need to modify or take a break, you can use a chair or a wall or some kind of support to hang on to, okay? Otherwise, our frog squats, we're actually going to lift up onto the ball mounds of the feet, and this is kind of like a plie in ballet or dance. And we're going to come down slow until our hands touch the floor here. And if you have sensitive knees and this feels like it just is too much pressure on the knees, then when we're ready, you can just start with those regular squats, the crow squats with a chair or the wall as support. But for these, this is our inhale position. You might be able to see I'm keeping the heels pressed together, okay? Lifted up on the toes. This is my inhale position. And then to exhale, I'm going to press down through the feet, simply straightening the legs. This is my exhale position. And then again, I'm going to inhale, lift the chest, shoulder blades draw back together. I'm going to exhale. See if you can do 10 more. See if you can do 10 squats, either your own version or the frog squats. We'll start together now. Inhale to begin. Exhale, 1. Inhale, 2. Exhale, 2. 3. 3. 4. 4. 5. 5. 6. 6. 7. 7. 8. 8. Last 2. 9. 9. 10. And 10. Go ahead and step with your feet just about hip distance apart. Inhale up halfway, hands to shins, knees, or thighs. Draw the shoulder blades together. Take a big breath in. And then exhale, standing forward fold. Give the head and neck a good shake, yes and no. Inhale all the way back up to standing, hands rise last. Exhale, hands lower down. Good. All right. So we're going to work into a little more balancing work. And for anybody practicing with a chair, I'll just have the chair close by to show you how you can use that. So we're simply going to start with just a few knee raises. So I'm going to start on my right side. I'm just going to lift and lower this right knee. I'm going to do that just about 4 more times. If you want to practice without the chair, you can. I'm going to go ahead and switch sides here. We're working on toning that hip flex. So you can even just kind of bring your hands in there and just feel as you lift the knee, you can feel that hip flexor bulging up as it helps to lift the leg. 4 more. Good job. All right. So we're going to practice a warrior 3 pose tonight. And we're actually going to work from a warrior 3 into a standing hamstring stretch. All right. So for warrior 3, it's a single leg balancing pose. I'm going to encourage you to use either a wall, press your palms flat against, or to have a chair close by. All right. I'll demonstrate the version with the chair here now. So I'm going to come over to my mat. Okay. If you do have some yoga blocks, you might like to have those down on the floor as well. Actually, let me do it over this way. Yep. Okay. All right, so for our warrior 3 pose, I'm going to start with my left foot forward because that's the foot I want to balance on first. You could do either side. Left foot out in front. I'm going to start to shift the weight forward into that left foot. And just to start, just to see how my balance feels tonight, I'm just going to come up onto that left foot. And you might be able to see I'm just gently lifting that right foot out behind. I want to try and keep the back level. All right, you're going to feel that right glute start to engage. You might even just like to be right here, which is kind of like a standing balancing version of Ardha Shalabhasana, the half locust pose. Coming into that warrior 3, we're just going to start to just hinge forward until we're making like a T shape with the body. So that might mean you can actually just rest your arms on the chair. That's going to help assist you here. If you want to do your warrior 3 unassisted, you want to try for your maximum challenge level. You start to come down into your warrior 3, and then just gently, one hand at a time, thank your support and release it. One more breath in. When you exhale, just set that right foot or your back foot back down. So notice we're kind of in this wide staggered stance right now. Okay, this is the perfect opportunity to enjoy a really nice hamstring stretch in that front leg. First, make sure your hips are level, so make sure your hips aren't really catty-cornered. Imagine they were like headlights on a vehicle, and you want those to be aligned facing forward. I'm going to keep my hands right here on my hips. I'm going to inhale, lengthen through the body, reaching up to the crown of the head, and then exhale, keeping just a micro bend behind this front leg. I'm going to start to fold forward. And again, if you have a chair, you might really find a lot of benefit from using this chair here. If you have some yoga blocks, you can also support your hands under shoulders on these blocks. And one of the biggest thing in class, when I'm able to actually see the students in class, I start to notice that as we start to come down further, our hips start to come back out of alignment. And so what that means to realign the hips for most of us, let's see if you can really appreciate this here, it's just a subtle shift. So right now, I'm aware that my left glute is out in front of the right glute. And so I need to shift back. So most of us, that's what we have to do. We have to just gently shift the left glute back and the right hip forward. And hello, that's where you really start to feel that nice stretch when we're squared off and engaged. You continue to walk the hands down, maybe resting the head on the chair. Bring a bend back in that front leg, stacking knee over ankle, and then press the floor away, hands reach up and overhead last. Exhale, hands touch and lower down. Back foot steps forward. Okay, so we're going to do the same sequence on the other side. So we're going to start with that modified warrior 3. I'll show you with the chair again. Okay, and then we'll get back into that hamstring stretch for the other side. So I'm going to have my right foot out in front this time, left foot out behind. And just very gradually, slowly, I'm going to start to shift the weight forward and just begin to just gently lift that left foot out behind. Again, aware of the hips, back. You're feeling ready for that warrior three. With the chair, you can simply start to come forward and create that letter T shape, like a capital letter T with the body. You can begin to, if you're comfortable, thanking your support. Thank you, chair. Release the hands and rest here. Warrior three. You can play with any number of hand and arm variations that you wish. And then when you're ready, we're going to slowly lower that back foot down. We're going to come back up to standing before we dive right into that hamstring stretch. So this time I have my right leg out front, hips square to the front of the mat or chair. And I'm just going to slowly start to hinge forward. Remember, we're never hyperextending our joints, so we're going to keep a little friendly bend behind that knee joint. Hands can come down to yoga blocks, or you can use that chair. And again, remember, as you come into your stretch, keep a level of awareness in the lower back and hips. Most of us need to shift that right glute back and the left hip forward. One more deep breath in. When you're ready, exhaling, stack right knee back over top of ankle, press the floor away, hands come up last. And exhale, hands lower down, back foot steps forward. Okay. So we're going to actually come down onto our mats now. So I'm going to put this down here. We're going to come to sit. If you have a blanket or a yoga bolster, you can use that to elevate your seat. All right, so we're going to start with the feet out in front. We're going to come into a rock the baby pose, which is also a version of lizard pose. Okay. I'm realizing I need a little more support, so I'm going to just fold this blanket up and lift my seat up a little higher. So all I'm going to do is hug the right leg in first. Okay, I'm going to grab a hold of the bottom of the foot. And I'm just going to start to hug this leg in. This is kind of more of a cousin of lizard pose, maybe more akin to a pigeon pose. We're just gently starting to rock this leg side to side. If you want to, you can adopt that lizard pose variation by bringing both arms to the inside edge of this right leg. You can start to play with a little hip opening. Never forcing anything, never straining, handling your body very gently and lovingly. Then go ahead and extend that right leg back out, get the legs into shape. And then when you're ready, go ahead and hug that left leg in. You could also do this lying down on your back as well. You want to come into the second variation, you can have arms on the inside edge. Okay. So go and extend both legs out in front. And if you notice that your hamstrings have been really tight all class, and maybe they just need a little bit of structural support to actually release, this is where you can grab some blocks or something to honor a bend in the hamstrings. I'll show you from the side here again. Okay. And so this is actually going to just facilitate a nice little bend underneath the knees and allow the hamstrings to release and relax. We're going to move into our standard forward fold. We're going to do so by inhaling, really lengthening through the spine, sitting up tall. One thing we want to avoid is rounding through the back. Try and keep the shoulder blades back together, core engaged, and really just keep the whole torso long. Imagine there was like a string tied to the top of your head, encouraging the crown of the head to stay lifted and never collapsing. If you feel like you're here, or if you feel like that there's a tendency to come to this kind of position, just really mindfully engage the shoulders back together and let that be a focal point in addition to the forward folding. Right? So we're sitting up nice and tall, inhaling, and just very gently, it's not a competition, just come forward with the torso, reaching the crown of the head up towards in between the feet. Inhale, let's come back up, reset. If you want to get the arms involved, you simply can lift the hands overhead and then exhale, release forward. Inhaling, just finding this wave-like in-breath and out-breath. Come down about 30 or 40% of the way, just find a gentle pulse. Inhaling. Just a few more breaths. And I'll come back up, offer the hands up and overhead, and exhale, hands lower back down. Go ahead and gently remove your blocks or supports over the legs if you have them. And go on ahead and come on down to your back. The arms come out wide into a T shape and just start to windshield wiper the knees side to side. So if you'd like, you can hug the knees in towards the chest. You can stay right here or join us for a happy baby pose. Happy baby pose, you can grab a hold of the outside edges of the feet, pressing heels towards the ceiling. And the knees come to the outside edges of the shoulders. Do this with a straight leg or two straight legs to access a nice hamstring stretch, or you can just focus on that lower back, inner thigh, and groin stretch. When you're ready, slowly release, lower the feet down. Just drop the knees side to side a few times. Close with an inversion and a twist. If an inversion is not right for you, just be aware of that and just rest here in constructive rest instead. Use this opportunity to rejuvenate the nervous system through rest. As a reminder, constructive rest, your feet are just poised right outside of your hip width, and the knees actually stack in towards each other. This is really beneficial for the lower back. For anybody interested in the inversion practice, we're going to move into our shoulder stand. And to do that, we're going to just start to roll the shoulders underneath the back of the body. All right, I'm going to keep the chin tilted away from the chest. A couple of contraindications for shoulder stand. If you're pregnant, if you've had any recent surgery in your jaw or face or neck, if you have a migraine headache, you might also not want to do shoulder stand. Otherwise, shoulder stand is a hugely beneficial practice. I'd highly recommend if you're able to or wanting to give it a shot. So the shoulders are the foundation for this pose, okay? To come into the inversion, I'm going to start by pressing the feet up. You could even rest with your legs up a wall just like this to gain some of the benefit. Otherwise, I'm going to start to bring the feet up and overhead. I'm going to use the hands to support the glutes. I'm going to stack feet over hips, over shoulders. Try not to cough and clear the throat or swallow while you're here. To come down, whenever you're ready, lower the hands down first, hug the knees to the chest, and very slowly lower the legs. Once you come down from shoulder stand, and take your time to do so. Just tilt the chin away. You just feel that openness through the front of the throat. Feel all that fresh blood and circulation around the thyroid gland, the parathyroid gland, responsible for the body boosting. Right, we'll close our physical practice here with a lying down twist, arms back out to the side in a T shape. Lift the knees to stack right over the hips, shins parallel to the floor. Just gently lower the knees down to one side. Keep both shoulders on the floor. If you need to, you can use a block or a blanket to bring in between or underneath the knees. For a nice full breath in. You exhale, slowly start to bring the knees back to center. Inhale, reset. And when you're ready, go ahead and drop the knees back down to the other side. For 2 more breaths. Right, and when you're ready, you can come back to center. Find a comfortable position to close your practice with. Whether that's Shavasana, whether you feel like you need another stretch or a longer twist. Your time to find a comfortable place to rest as we close our practice for tonight. Guide us through a brief, deep relaxation, something you can mindfully practice on your own anytime you feel centered and relaxed. Find and make any little adjustments you need to. As you rest here, bring your awareness to the center of your heart. Center of your chest. Find the center of your slowly beating drum. See if you can detect that love dub, that drum beat. With your mind's eye, with your conscious power of intention, honor the 4 directions again. Honor the sky and sun, heavens above, and the earth below. Feel that spiraling pattern of energy moving within and around you. Allow the eyes and the face to soften and relax. Jaw unclenched. Mouth ever so slightly again. Ears resting back. Breathe, invite a gentle swallow in the throat now. Feel the neck and throat relax. Draw the shoulder blades back together, feeling that opening across the front of the chest. Feel the arms relaxed and heavy. You could even just gently shake the arms side to side or pick them up and drop them. And then let them be arms and hands. So breathing in, bring your awareness deep into the belly. Feel the belly rise, rise, and opening, resting, lifting, and you breathe in. You allow this experience of deep relaxation permeate every aspect of your body and being, moving down hips, glutes, and legs, knee joints, the shins and calves, all relaxed. If it helps, you can gently point and flex the feet or pick up and lower the legs. Just find a place to rest in total stillness for our final movements. Resting, resting, deity. Observe any thoughts that might arise. Remember, we are not our thoughts. We are the observer, the knower, the seer. Rest here. Deepen your in-breath. Hold and savor it. Retain its wisdom. Hold and savor the next in-breath. And slowly and mindfully observe the energetic influence of the out-breath. Feel it empty, calm, ground, and just retain the out-breath for a moment. You need to inhale again. This time inhale and start to move the body and express that uplifting, energizing quality of the in-breath with your movement. Same with your next out-breath. You need to move, awaken, staying, ease, experience of relaxation. Ready, you can join me in a comfortable seated position where we'll close our practice with one more of those chants that I opened with, the Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Exhaling completely, inhaling here. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. You go with peace, peace. Namaste, namaste. Thank you, everyone.